Hello. I see there's been a lot happening in the chat while I've been getting ready. What is there's a lot of messages here. Let me skim to get caught up. Are you doing okay, Minna? I know your sub count isn't super high. I want to make sure you can support yourself. Don't worry, that's what I got Milliardo for. This is just a hobby. Don't worry, I'm fine. Let's see. I just want to make sure you weren't hungry or sleeping under a bridge. No, I am well taken care of. Don't worry. Hello, Salty. Let's see. Imagine showing up to a VTuber's chat just to ask about numbers. Okay, guys. Okay, this is not what we're on about. Okay, anyways. Alright, so that's what's been in the chat. Let's see. Also, what you mean, are root canals safe? That's what we're gonna find out today. I'm gonna find the root of the problem of this mystery. Haha, nice one, nice one. Alright, let's see. Look at the screen, she's rolling in bread, thanks. Raking in the dough. I always got that dough. Don't gotta worry about me. Alright, so I guess that's... Okay. Alright, well. We won't worry about that. We're gonna move on. Oh, I need to set up my, window capture. Let's see. Hang on, let me get... That was one thing I forgot. I was pulling up many things to look at. Let me start with one of them. Let's see. Actually, hang on. Let me get this one. Get something pulled up before I pull up the screen share. This one. I think I'll make that one go away. Okay, let's see. Pull these back up. Let's see, BT Dub, I missed out on a lot. Why does Minna have a baby in the intro screen? Did she have a bred baby in lore? In real life. I got two kiddos, which is why I stream late and I'm always late. Ha! Alright, what was I doing? My brain don't work. This doesn't prove my mom brain. I don't know what does. What was I doing? Oh, setting up the screen share, that's right. Let's see. I think it's this one? Yes. Alright. There we go. Here, let me adjust this. Just a bit. I think that looks good. Alright. I don't know. We'll pull that up. Alright, I got that set up. So I don't know if I'll go to that first. Alright. Okie dokie. Hi Minna, hello Long. Also hello everyone else in chat. JF, Salty, AJ, Baisley, I think is how you say it. Harvey Von Fruber, Liz Sunin, Sun Min, I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. And everyone else that's lurking. Jana De Gaines, J2 Marlow, Subo 43, and all you other lovely people. Alright, to start this off, give a little bit of what I'm dealing with right now. Got a tooth started hurting. Actually, last year, before we came over here, I don't think that was hurting, but they're like, oh, there's a crack or something going on, and they're like, the filling's too close to the root, we could do a root canal, or we can do a crown. And I was like, I didn't really have time to look super closely at the root canals, but I was pretty leery. And I was like, let's just go for a crown. I don't know what changed now, possibly. I've been trying to, like, keep sugar out for the most part, and I went to South Korea and didn't want to, like, miss out on the sugar, so, like, didn't go crazy, but didn't, like, hold myself back. And then after that, then it started hurting, and I'm like, ooh. So, got it looked at, and of course my mouth is tiny. I wonder if it was because I was a preemie, but my mouth is tiny, so it was super hard getting an x-ray. But they're like, oh, it's infected, needs a root canal. And they were like, we'll send you to the other people, and they'll call you. Took a while for them to call. They didn't actually call. I finally, like, pinned someone down to get an appointment. In the meantime, it's actually hurting less now than it did, like, has it been 3 weeks? How long has it been since I got seen? How long has this been going on? Hang on. It was... It was like the beginning of May. Like May 2nd, I think, was my appointment. So it's been like a minute. But got seen. So it's probably been like over a month that it started hurting, but it hurts less now. I stopped chewing things on that side, and anytime it flares up, arnica is super great for tooth pain, at least for me. It usually, like, makes it go away within, like, 20 minutes at least. And then the other thing is, like, making sure, like, I've gotten really strict in the past couple weeks of, like, no sugar. Because if I have any sugar, then it just flares up randomly. If I don't have any sugar, it doesn't flare up. Like the other day, Dough Baby, like, force-fed me a Skittle, and it hurt a little bit later that day. So, sugar is the main component to it not hurting. And then my bite feels off. It feels like a tip. So I don't know. I have my appointment tomorrow, and I've had all this time to research. Though we had family in town and busyness, so I've done a bit of research, trying to finish up my research tonight, and I figured might as well stream it. So I'm probably not gonna, like, read through everything. I'm gonna, like, mostly skim and talk and kind of focus on what I need to do, and you guys can come along for the ride. But that's what I've been up to. Now I will say I feel pretty set in not wanting to get a root canal. And so when I go, I'll have to talk to them about extraction and, like, whatever to, like, replace the spot with. But I want to be able to properly, like, vocalize, like, have it, like everything kind of, like, laid out better in my head of, like, talking to them about it. So this is kind of what I'm doing, is kind of going through stuff, thinking about things. You'll probably end up needing a root canal, honestly, or I could pull the tooth, or I could just pull it out. Infected tooth pulp is gnarly stuff. Least fun part of being human. That heart. I wish I could make that little heart in the corner go human body, honestly. Alright, so let's see if we can get into this a little bit. It's very controversial. It's a very controversial topic within the medical community. And it's mainly, there's, like, two schools of thought. And debating if I want to try and explain it, or we can, like, watch a video of someone explaining part of it. Let's see, well, hello there, Minna. It's been, oh boy, 7 months since I've seen any of your streams on your channel and wondered how you were doing today. But are you having a relaxing time with your chat? We'll see. We just got started. We'll see if it's relaxing or not. Most of the time when I stream, I feel like a need to make sure it's entertaining. I'm gonna interact with you guys, but I'm also gonna try and focus because I need to have all my thoughts in order for tomorrow. Okay, so, there seems to be, from my research so far, two schools of thought. One is that it's nearly impossible to fully sterilize the tooth, mainly because there are like a ton of like microscopic little channels in the pulp and like tooth that, you know, when the root canal happens and it's cut off from the regular oxygen and blood supplies, those bacteria that are left in there aren't being like dealt with in the usual way, and they just kind of like stay in there, and then they can kind of mutate and become toxic, and those and then like leak out of your body, like leak into the rest of your body, this sort of toxicness of the bacteria in there. The other school of thought believes that it's totally sealed off, there's no way it can leak out, it doesn't affect the rest of the body. You know, we're gonna watch the video because I feel like I'm not explaining it well. So let's see if I can pull that up. Wait, I need to refresh. I listened to this earlier today. I need to like refresh myself on the terminology. Let's see, where did I put it? Dun, dun, dun. Come on, where did I put it? Hold on, think. Alright, I like made a big list of links. I'm trying to find where the one link was. Hang on. Come on, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? One moment, chat. Here, let me... Come on. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Yeah, it's gotta be... Okay, hang on. I'm gonna send this to myself since it didn't seem to do it the other way. Oh, I copied the wrong thing. That's what I did. Alright, hang on a minute. Oh, let me redo this. I'm going to take that. Alright, I gotta play switcheroo a second. Lions, switcheroo for a second. Get the right links. Thought I had it set up. Ba-dum. 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 This is the one I need. Sure. These ones are there. Right now, let me copy all of that. And switch back over. Bum, 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 bum. Let's make a new one here. Alright. That should be better. Alright, we're gonna keep it like that. Alright, let's refresh this. Let's pull up this. No, where's that video? Not that one. There you go. Hopefully that's right. This over here. Oh, I thought I was gonna be able to
People are listening here.
Get the research done a little more earlier today, but oh well. Alright, I got that set up. Let's see here. Turn off the music. We're gonna start with this video to have better set up what we're talking about. Turn that. Alright. Here we go. Alright, guys. Might pause and talk here and there. Alright.
Here, and they're very interested about
Let's see.
the connection with why
Hopefully not too loud.
root canals could be problematic. So tell us from your experience working with
We're
people,
gonna learn a little bit
your
of
review
something,
of the
chat.
literature, and just paying attention to what's going on there. Why is it that root canals can be problematic, and when do you look at it and say this could be something that's contributing
I might
to
skip
one of the factors of chronic
places
disease that this
seem a bit
patient is going
long.
through?
Right. So in order to understand where the controversy comes from, or why as holistic dentists or alternative medicine doctors or biological dentists we are against root canals, or at least we see them as a risk factor, I need to go over very
There's a risk
briefly
factor.
about the tooth structure. Let's
Yes.
talk about the anatomy of the tooth, because
Alright, I
it's
gotta
all
take
about
notes.
that. So any teeth in our body, whether front or back teeth, is made out of different layers, okay? So the first layer of the tooth, which most people know by name, is called enamel, which is the hardest layer of the tooth, harder than bone.
Mm-hmm.
Second layer of the tooth, this is the tricky area, is called dentin. Now, dentin is composed of so many microtubules.
Oh yeah,
So
this
these
is
are
the
like
spot.
straw-like structures, like tubes, but they're microscopic. So if
And
I
teeny
want to
tiny.
give you an analogy, if you put all these little tubules next to one another, like a straw, end to end to one another, your smallest tooth, which happens to be your lower front tooth, once you put all those little tubules next to one another, it will be 3 to 5 miles. That's how many little tiny tubules we have hidden in dentin. So
Wow.
inside that tubules, we have, it's fluid filled, it's not hollow. Then comes, so remember that second layer, because I'm going to come back to it. This is where the controversy comes, or this is where the danger of the root canal comes. It's all hidden in the second layer of the tooth, which now we know so much. Third layer of the tooth is pulp. That's where the canal, that basically the nerve
That's like the
and the
main
blood
canal
vessels
part that they
are
take
located.
out.
And that's PULP? Is that
PULP.
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 Right. So when you do a root canal, or when a dentist does a root canal, in order to keep the tooth, they go through all these 3 layers to access the nerve, which is sitting inside the pulp, which is the third layer of the tooth, right? And then they will remove the major nerve and the blood vessels. When I say major nerve, just like the rest of our body, we have all these blood vessels and nerves that they're main nerves, and there we have so many accessory little tiny branches
It's
that
easy to
comes
think
off
about
of it.
how much
Teeth
goes
are
on in our body.
no difference. We have anywhere between 1 to 4 main nerves that we see with our naked eye. That's how big they are sitting inside the canal.
So like the biggest problem, and she's gonna get into it, but like I'm also pausing it just in case I don't know how copyright works with these, but tiny, tons of little tubules and blood flow areas. So we're gonna see what happens when it's sealed off.
But then we have tiny branches that comes off of those main nerves. Those are
Is it
microscopic.
too quiet?
No
I
one
can
can
turn it
see
up.
them. They're hidden in lateral canals. They're in the dentinal tubules. So we don't have access to them. When we don't have access to something, we cannot clean them. So therefore, a root canal procedure, we only remove the major nerve that we can see. The rest of it is left untouched. So that means we are still letting go of some necrotic tissue, which leads to bacteria accumulation inside the tooth. That's why even endodontists who happen to be root canal specialists, they cannot argue with the fact that, are you guaranteeing that you removed all the necrotic tissue from the tooth? The answer is always no. No one can guarantee that, because there's not a single person in this world that has access to that. We only have access to the major nerve that we see. The rest.
See, that's one of the big things that is making me lean away from the root canals is how can you guarantee all the tiny little ones are completely cleaned? Now I forget if she talks about it. There is my boy Dr. Price. We're gonna get into him. But I believe he did like an experiment where he took the infected teeth and would like try everything to sterilize it, just like outside of the body to sterilize it, and then he'd culture it. And I think every single time it would still culture bacteria, like it was never completely sterilized. Let's see. In other words, drug, yes. No way I'm staying conscious through this. If you, I mean, yeah, any dental stuff you don't want to feel. But this. Well, we'll keep learning about it and what possible negative effects of those little tubules, microscopic tubules being sealed up could be.
Stuff that we don't. So the problem comes when we leave this necrotic tissue inside the tooth and we seal it with some rubbery substance that we call gutta percha. Now the bacteria, which oftentimes are anaerobic, which means they can survive.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down. Anaerobic. Anaerobic.
Without oxygen, have this beautiful space of dentinal tubules. Remember, 3 to 5 miles in smallest tooth. So imagine the posterior teeth that have 3 or 4 canals, much more dentinal tubules. So they have this space that they can reproduce, they can grow. And what does the anaerobic bacteria does? They produce toxins. Where does the toxin go? It doesn't just stay inside the tooth. Again, we have lateral canals that these toxins or bacteria, they can leak out literally outside the tooth. So what is outside the tooth that gets contaminated with these toxins and bacteria? One is our periodontal ligament.
Also, they add any painkillers to numb pain during or after. Like, I mean, they have the shots. Like, I've had a lot of dental work done, guys. I know the process.
Which basically, no teeth is fused to the bone. Every tooth via ligament is attached to the bone. And these ligaments they have wonderful blood
did you
supplies.
Say, what's the name of the ligament?
And then after no teeth is fused to is outside the tooth that gets contaminated with these toxins and bacteria. One is our periodontal ligament.
Okay, periodontal ligament. I wanted to ask them about that. Periodontal ligament. Because one of the things is if that's also infected with the bacteria, you also want to remove that. So I need to ask them about that tomorrow. My mom has this odd thing of reoccurring wisdom teeth, like more wisdom teeth coming up. Never heard of that.
Which basically, no teeth is fused to the bone. Every tooth via ligament is attached to the bone. And these ligaments they have wonderful blood supplies, okay? And then after that, besides the ligament, there is a bone structure, alveolar bone, which is again filled with blood supplies. So now toxins have a way to escape into circulatory system, and they
if the toxins are, if the tooth is then cut off from oxygen, so you've got these anaerobic bacteria that are then turning toxic because they don't have the normal flow isn't happening, but then they leach out into the blood flow of the ligament and the bone. That's where the big controversy comes in, is, one side is saying, hey, this is a risk and this happens, and the other side is saying, no, that's false, that's not true. That's where the big controversy comes in.
They become systemic, or bacteria can now become systemic. So this is the area that holistic dentists or biological dentists don't agree with, because anything necrotic that is causing or promoting anaerobic bacteria growth and toxins can cause health damage. And nowadays we know better. Like back in the days, you mentioned, or in the past I talked about briefly about Dr. Weston Price, who happened to be a brilliant dentist.
Why is she illustrating a small diameter using miles? I think you're referring to when she talked about like all the tiny little microscopic like channels within the dentin. If you like laid those side by side, then they could like be really long. I think that's what you're referring to. Your body has a perfectly good immune system to deal with small number of bacteria. That's the thing, though. Best case scenario, your immune system's strong and can deal with that constant presence of those aerobic bacteria and toxins. That's best case scenario. A lot of people don't seem to have a problem with root canals. But if your immune system gets compromised in like, even just a sickness or car crash, now there's not enough strength to contain those toxins. And that's where the risk comes in. See what I'm saying? It's like, it's one thing that, our body's exposed to bacteria and everything, but it's like, if there's a thing sitting in your mouth close to your blood supplies that is just always there, that seems like a significant risk to understand, you know? Well, my immune system is a bit weak. I mean, like, yeah, best case, your immune system can repress it and it's not a problem. Worst case, it can't suppress it and those toxins spread through your body. So that's this side. This is this angle. Infections in the gums are very dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see.
His only fault was he was 25 years ahead of his game. So people put on such a fight, and they still put on such a fight about his research. So what he did was 25 years of research. What he found out was, as a dentist, when he performs root canals on a healthy
She's talking about
individual,
my boy, Dr. Weston
when they
Price.
come back later on in the game, they have all these systemic issues. Somehow it didn't make sense to him. So what he did, he started to linking it. Is this happening every time after I do a root canal? So he somehow was able to encourage the patients who had the root canals, let's remove the root canal tooth. You seem to have a heart condition, so let's remove this root canal tooth. And he did. So he started removing the root canal tooth from the patients who had general health issues, diabetic, arthritis, cascade of events. And he realized the health of the patients got much better. Then he took it a step further.
I will also say that story has been repeated in many YouTube comments on different videos I've seen of people saying the exact same thing of like, they had this issue, they got the root canal teeth removed, and the issue got better. I was thinking of different Dr. Price. I don't know, a different Dr. Price. And that it's like the other side denies like, oh, this is, you know, dismisses this angle, this kind of theory. But it's like, if enough people are experiencing it, sure, it's not like hard evidence, but isn't it enough to look into? Let's finish the video. Wait, how does you getting a root canal work since you are made out of bread? Do they add hardened sugar and flour? The shape of a tooth, that's pretty funny.
And back then, I guess animal studies was very much allowed and okay.
Poor bunnies.
So, and
Don't let Pippa see
was
this.
The norm. So he actually took the root canal tooth from the patient who had the heart disease. He extracted it and he placed it under the skin of the rabbit. And then to his surprise, the rabbit that was healthy exactly created the same symptoms and the disease, ended up with a heart disease and died. And then he took the same tooth from that rabbit, put it under the skin of another rabbit, and he got the same results. He actually was able to produce the same results on 100 or 200 rabbits.
And I think he did the same thing with people that had like a heart condition and got the tooth removed, and then the rabbit got a heart condition, the same one. So one thing I want to do after this is I want to try and pin down more of Dr. Price's studies and work so we can look closer at it.
Now, a patient who had arthritis, he would remove the tooth that had root canal and put it under the skin of the rabbit. The rabbit would get 85% of the time, if not more, the same exact condition.
Which sounds crazy.
Which is crazy.
But if you look at like the literature that's out there today, they're taking the poop.
Oh,
right?
okay. This part gets a little crazy. All right, I'll let it play. This part gets a little crazy. A little wacky. But, I mean, it's a little crazy. Sounds a little gross. But we do know that the microbiome is super important and gut health is super important. So this next section is kind of interesting. I'll let it play.
Taking in the gut microbiome, right? He's dealing with the oral microbiome. But today,
I just want to say we do not talk about another VTubers here. I think Pippa's my mother. I can talk about her. Don't worry about it.
There have studies where they're taking the poop of individuals who are thin and injecting it into the rectum through a fecal transplant for another person that is, let's say, overweight, and they're seeing that the person who is overweight has now that their bacteria has changed, all of a sudden they're metabolizing food differently and they start to slim down a little bit, right? Or they're taking the fecal transplants in certain locations for kids on the autism spectrum. And again, these are small studies. We'll link to them so you can check them out. We need more of them, but there does seem to be
more
evidence that when you take the gut microbiome through a fecal transplant, and
But I mean, the gut microbiome is so important. That's why there's a big advantage of being able to have a vaginal birth where the baby moves through the birth canal, because then the baby's able to pick up the mother's microbiome and help strengthen their immune. There's even a thing called seeding, where if you have to have a C-section, that you take some of, like, you know, the mucus or things from the birth canal and rub it into the baby's skin to help, influence building up their microbiome.
You take it from one person to another, you can replicate the same thing. It's just that he was doing it way before his time in the oral microbiome.
Way before his time. So, and unfortunately, some of the modern medicine that we have or technology we have available back nowadays, it wasn't available to him back then, which was a DNA analysis. So then he found out there has to be something in the root canal, whether it's a bacteria or a toxin that is causing this. This doesn't make sense. So what he did was, let me see if I can somehow outside in patient mouth perform root canal in a way that I can make the root canal 100% sterile. Because obviously any tooth that I'm removing that has root canal, when I culture it, has bacteria. So he used the strongest disinfectants, anything that is not allowed
this is the
in
part I was
patient's
talking
mouth.
about earlier.
He pushed his boundaries, and he used that, soak it in for 2 days, and after that, sectioned the root canal tooth, cultured it, and to his surprise, he kept finding toxins and bacteria. So he was never able to 100% create a tooth with a root canal that is 100% sterile.
Sterile environment.
Right, sterile.
So this is one of the main things that I've got like a whole bunch of stuff pulled up to be able to look closer at, like, studies looking at, like, can it actually be completely sterilized? Or is there always going to be present as something? There's a lot of people that get abscesses and jawbone infections and stuff from their root canal. It's like, it's hard, it's sneaky too, and it like hides. The infections can kind of hide from x-rays, I think.
And that's really the clincher, is really what you're talking about when we say the concern around root canals. It's almost like mold in a way that I think about it, right? We have these
not the mold
that we all live in, and we have little areas that, let's say, we board up, dry, completely, like a attic crawl or whatever it might be, or a basement that we think is like completely clean, but bacteria will always find a way. Mold will always find a way. And
hello, Mr. Eric Jimerson? Jim Enzen? So are you going to numb the area or sleep gas? I'll talk to my dentist tomorrow. I'm not planning on a root canal, though. I'd rather get it pulled. But I want to finish my research, and I figured I'd do that with you guys. Actually, speaking of, tooth is hurting a little bit. I'm going to go take some arnica real quick while this video finishes.
it'll end up growing there. So we think this tooth is sealed. We think that it's completely sterile. We think it's not
causing us pain.
It's not causing us pain. We don't think that there's any repercussions, and yet bacteria will not only grow but can thrive in that environment because other non-anaerobic bacteria can't compete, because it's only the anaerobic bacteria that is able to live in that area and then produce whatever form of toxicity that it produces.
Exactly. And even if you want to practice Western medicine or standard dentistry, if you give antibiotic to the patient, that's not going to help. Why? We cut the blood supplies to the tooth. We remove the vessels, the blood vessels. So the antibiotic, where does it go? It's systemic, it's in the blood, but it has no means or way of getting inside the tooth anymore, because remember, root canal, we remove the nerve and the blood vessels, so there is no more blood vessels, so we cannot even push this bacteria inside the tooth and the antibiotic inside the tooth anymore. So antibiotic is going to be totally out of use, or no use for it.
And to zoom out a little bit here, because this is where we want to be very careful and focus on education. There are no big studies. When I say big, I mean like big studies that are out there with thousands of people studying this area. First of all, to even get somebody to do a study on this, it's controversial, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm,
it's difficult because there's so many factors that you have to look at, and it would take quite a bit of time. So we want to acknowledge that. But just because you don't have clinical trials at huge levels doesn't mean that there aren't doctors, dentists, boots on the ground that are seeing patterns and are having people pay attention, and that are raising, almost like Europe has the precautionary principle. It's saying, look, these chemicals in the environment, like glyphosate and GMOs, maybe we don't have big studies yet showing, big population studies showing that glyphosate causes cancer, right? Even though there is one now with lymphoma, but not with all the other cancers that are there. There's enough evidence and research that's out there that are showing we should have caution.
Absolutely.
So there's some documentaries that are out there, and there's some articles that float around the internet that make you think that, oh, breast cancer and root canals are 100% linked. You get a root canal, you get breast cancer. And that's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking. It's just bringing awareness.
I feel like those kind of articles are just covering up for big dentist or whatever. Like, the thing is, there are concerns, I believe, and there are patterns, or there are people's experiences that there's enough of them that's like, this should be taken into consideration and looked at closer. But the way that, like, the main, like, establishment is so dismissive of it and so, like, poo-poo of it, always kind of, you know, is a little sus. I don't know. It feels like one of those instances where there was some beef between two guys, and then that just carried on. That's what it feels like. Need to look into the history a bit more, but that's kind of where I'm coming from. It's like, there needs to be more research on exactly the ins and outs of this. But it's always dismissed so, like, flippantly, that makes me just more cautious, you know? It's always Europeans. Alright, let's see. Isn't it better to not research too deeply into this because you could end up scaring the shit out of yourself for tomorrow? No! No! No, tomorrow is going and talking to the dentist. I need my research and my thoughts in order so I can go talk to them. Then we're going to look closer at the tooth, see what's going on. I want to feel more, I want to feel confident in my ability to talk and discuss things with them. Right now, I'd much prefer the tooth removed than the tooth staying. Because of a lot of these reasons. But again, I don't blame most individual dentists, because this is how they've been taught. And there's even, like, this thing where this little pamphlet of, like, hand this out to your patients. It's interesting. But no, this is going and this is talking and looking at it and discussing things. So I want to be ready. But Minna, pattern recognition is bad. No noticing allowed. So many different areas that could apply to. Oh, I thought you were getting surgery done tomorrow. No. We're gonna go talk. It's been like a month. Finally got them to, like, get me on the schedule. But no, we're gonna talk tomorrow. Gonna have a good old chat, and that's what I'm trying to prep for. Hey, it beats excruciating pain for days. This is from someone that had 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, I've gone. Thankfully, it hasn't been too bad. It's probably fairly minor. Like, the X-ray showed, like, a little dark shadow kind of at the tip of the root. I think the things I've been doing have been helping. Like, when I talked to them on the phone and they're like, have you been managing the pain? Tylenol, ibuprofen. I'm like, no, I just don't chew on that side. I take arnica if it flares up. And the main thing that's helped is not having sugar in the diet, because anytime I've let a little bit of sugar slip in, then that's when it will flare up randomly. There's only been twice that's been like, oh, really bad, like, really, like, make you clench your fists and stuff. Most of the time when it flares up, it's just like, oh, that's pretty annoying. Let me take some arnica and sit here for like 15 minutes watching YouTube shorts to distract myself for a minute, and then it's gone. So thankfully, very thankfully, it has been too bad, but definitely want to see about having it taken care of. All right. We're breaking the conditioning. We will uncover big dental industry. I need to do a deep dive on Rockefeller. That's what I need to do. I'll probably do a stream of it. All right, so that's one more minute. We'll finish out this video, and then what I want to do is I want to try and dig up Dr. Price's research, because that's I'll get to that.
There could be some correlation.
Right. There could be
You
some
know?
correlation. It's patient specific, and there is cause to be concerned
Exactly.
about root canals.
But they
in
dismiss
an
it.
ideal world, through those main categories that you talked about, those three things, the fourth one we can't do much about, which is accidents, we try to set up our dental health and our oral microbiome and our nutrition so that we can avoid it.
Absolutely.
And then if we do have it, then, like for instance, we've had a root canal. We'll talk about that in a second. I know you have some recommendations. Then we can appropriately go get support for dealing with that at that time. So this is more of an awareness campaign and really taking.
All right, that's probably good there. All right, so here I'm gonna hide the screen for a second while I pull up the next thing. Ugh, it's 1 a.m. I really need to make sure I've got all my things in line. All right, let's see here. Let me pull up my little list here. Let's see. So which one was it? I just have a whole bunch of links. See, where was the one that was? Those ones were kind of interesting. Let's see. Where is? Oh wait, here we go. All right. So I'm not gonna like read word for word, like everything in this. I'm gonna skim. I'll try and make it big enough that you guys can see. I'm gonna mostly like do my like own reading of this. I think I can. There we go. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna look over this. Let's see. What is this comment? Toothpaste is unnecessary. I just brush with fluorinated tap water. That's another rabbit hole, isn't it? All right. All right. Like I said, I'm not going to read all this out loud, but it's DNA studies confirm Dr. Weston Price's century-old findings. My boy, okay, here. I'll talk about, here, my good old boy, Dr. Weston Price. I could probably go to the Weston Price Foundation and get like a good summary of him, but he was a dentist, early 1900s. He did a whole lot of research. The main thing, or one of the big things he did, was he was looking at the diet and health of like sort of isolated people, like indigenous tribes and, you know, little valley, like people that were kind of isolated and, you know, not getting on the bandwagon of the jams and the processed bread and sugar and everything like that. I saw some instances of here, let me turn the BGM on. In one of his studies, and it was showing pictures of like same like family members, because the genetic thing is also an interesting part of the whole picture, but like family members, you know, two brothers, for example, where one of them was eating, I think this one was maybe in the like Alps or something, where it's like the one brother was eating, you know, a whole lot of, you know, the grass-fed butter, raw milk butter from the cows and whatever else their diet was, and the other one started eating the new diet of the sugars and the white bread and the jams, and not having, and starting to miss out, especially on fat-soluble vitamins, is super huge. So he started not having those things in his diet, like the fat-soluble vitamins and the more traditional way his family and stuff ate. And the one guy that ate the traditional way, perfect teeth. The other guy, terrible teeth. They started just falling apart. So, like, you think about it, I don't know, think about those pictures on, like, geographics where it's those, like, tribes. They all have, like, white, perfect teeth. The diet. It's the diet. So that's a huge factor. So that was part of his research. That's pretty fascinating. But he did a whole lot of research. And one thing I want to look into is, like, why it was so dismissed. And then I think of, so, like, what I think of when I see things like this. I think of, like, when people scoffed at, like the beginnings of like germ theory and stuff, or I need to look up exactly like the years. But the fact that for a while we were X-raying women during labor, and research came out that hey, that's kind of a bad idea. Look at the things it's causing. And then it took at least 10, if not like 25 years, I can't remember. It took that long for the rest of the establishment to accept it and stop X-raying women during labor. So I think of things like that when it comes to being like, oh, you know, or just, I don't know, other things like cigarettes and their effect on health, or, you know, lead and, you know, all the other stuff that at one time was like seen as fine or whatever, and then later on it's not. So I always think of those things when looking at stuff, you know. Anyway, from what I know of Dr. Price, it makes me feel a little way when people are like, because he was a cool dude. I think he did a lot of good work. So anyway, I'm gonna kind of read over this. Hopefully it's big enough you guys could read it if you wanted to. So, alright, this is from 2010. Okay. I'm gonna do my best to speed read. I'm not good at speed reading. Okay, it's talking about how mercury fillings were a thing. Oh, dental mercury fillings was first exposed as a health-compromising product in 1840. The dental profession finally overcame the perception that putting toxic mercury in the mouth might be detrimental to human health. Organized dentistry still considers the current fillings containing 50% mercury as state-of-the-art. Alright, so back in 1910, Dr. Price was looking at the toxicity of root canals. People got mad about it. The American Dental Association, which one of the founding members was a guy that worked for movie stars in Hollywood, so take of that what you will. But they deny its findings and claims it has proven root canals to be safe. So that's the other thing I need to look at tonight. Is like, oh, we have studies proving it's safe, but like, what is their measurement of safe exactly? Are they just saying like there's no like obvious immediate damage? What is the follow-up like? Again, I think a lot of it depends on the person's diet and their immune system of if it becomes a problem or not. That would be some crazy footage, though. The X-ray view of labor. It's probably somewhere. I'm not going to go down the rabbit trail today. Maybe another day. However, no published data from the ADA is available to confirm this statements, but no actual research. See, I want to see if I can confirm if there's research or not. That's one of the other things I want to do. Because right now, I'm not so sure. The increase of autoimmune diseases after the high copper algal... I don't know how to say that. I know that word, I can't say it. Of 1957. Let's see. ADA claims it released no mercury. On the contrary, studies from Europe found that high copper amalgam, I can't say it, released 50 times more mercury than previous ones. Alright, so there's, there's that. Let's see. There's also a blip increase in anesthetic lateral cirrhosis. Let's see figure 1. Number of deaths. Let's see. I can't really read what's going on here. Oh, reduce the number of cases. Alright, so that was a huge increase in those. And that was the... Alright, so there's that. Alright, root canal hazards. Let's see. There are bacteria in root canals that favor destruction of the nervous system and many other systems, resulting in creation of autoimmune reactions. What is the common denominator? The formation of hapten. So page 46. Hapten is a small molecule that can elect immune response only when attached to a large carrier. It's a protein. B. Self-congenital only. Body. Healthy cells have code imprinted on them. Immune system is trained to kill and eliminate any non-self invaders. If an atom of mercury attaches to a normally healthy cell, a hapten is formed and the immune system immediately identifies the cell as not the cell. Immune system members is killed. When the cell mercury attaches to nerve cell, the result is neurological disease, such as multiple sclerosis, seizures, lupus. Mercury attaches to a binding site or hormone, that encrodon function is altered. Ooh, I got my mercury filling removed last year, so that's good. Mercury can attach to almost any cell in the body and create autoimmune diseases in those tissues. Alright. Alright. Lately, it has become evident that toxins from anaerobic bacteria have the same ability to create non-self autoimmune diseases by interfering with the MHC. This is the project Dr. Price began to study a century ago. Resistance from organized dentistry was the same then as it is today. Price wondered why dentistry was considered a health profession. Interesting. They're not quite as driven by science as they ought to be. Dogma and money are significant factors. It's the human element. The human element in any way it comes up, really. Dr. Price discovered that root canals had within them bacteria capable of producing many diseases. They had no place in the body. Which is more important, the life of the tooth or the life of the patient? This is the primary argument facing us today. And that's the other thing, is like, they call root canals saving the tooth, but you cut off the blood supply. They claim that since the pulp's still there, it's still alive, but like, it's not what it was before. Nowhere else do we leave a dead body part in the mouth or anywhere else in the body. So there's that. Let's see, root canals and neurological diseases. Considering the difficulty of cultivating anaerobic bacteria, it is hard to identify them with 1920s technology, obviously. Most bacteria reported by organized dentistry at that time were aerobics of unknown significance. Today, with DNA analysis available, anaerobic bacteria, the dangerous kind, can be identified, whether dead or alive, by the presence of their telltale DNA signs. Let's go back to the graph of ASL up through the year 2000. Note an increase in 1976, and another case increased slope in 1991. In 1990, the Dentists Association suggested that dentists perform 30 million root canals per year by the year 2000. That's weird. That's weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird. Dentists accomplished the goal by 1999. As I understand it, the bar has now been raised to 60 million per year. Why is there like a number of how many should be performed? Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna skim a bit more. Let's see, heavians for bacteria. Dr. Price, while head research for now defunction National Dental Association took 1,000 extracted teeth and removed them out as dentists normally do. Prior to filling the canals with wax, Price sterilized the teeth with 40 different chemicals, far too toxic to be used in a live human situation. He wanted to see whether the canals could be permanently sterilized. After 48 hours, each tooth was broken apart and cultured for the presence of bacteria. 999 out of 1,000 cultured toxic bacteria just 2 days after treatment, with chemicals designed to make the tooth sterile. Where did these bacteria come from? Overview of the structure of the tooth. Figure 4, wherever that's at. Alright, so I think this is going over what the one lady mentioned. All the little tubules. Let's see, the tooth has 4 major canals. Never mentioned other additional accessory canals. Yeah, I'm curious to ask my dentist tomorrow about this. About what they think of all the little tubules in the dentin layer. Let's see. There's no way any dental procedure research access now. Alright, so that's the big thing. So it's like, why not try and recreate that study? Alright. There's that. Alright, these are the figures showing the teeth. There's some more part of it. And that's a big area of the dentin. That's a big area. Accessory canals. Necrotic tissue, bacterial infection, toxic microorganisms. Let's see, what significance are these? Okay, so those bacteria there, there's 3 listed. What significance are these? Let's see. 4 affect the heart, 3 the nerves, 2 the kidneys, 2 the brain, and 1 the sinus canal. Shouldn't we have questioned the wisdom of supplying a haven for these microbes so close to our brain and circulatory system? Does this information validate the claims of sterile root canals? They claim they can sterilize the tooth before forcing in the wax and stuff to the canal. Perhaps they can sterilize the column. Where's the problem? Bacteria wandering out of the dental tubulars that Price was finding. Just out of curiosity, we tested blood samples adjacent to the removed teeth and analyzed them for presence of anaerobic bacteria. Approximately 400% more bacteria were found in the blood surrounding the root canal tooth than were in the tooth itself. It seems that the tooth is the incubator. The periodontal ligament supplies more food, therefore higher concentration of bacteria. That's why when you get the tooth removed, it's recommended to get that ligament out to stop like any bacteria that's gotten in that. Apparently the immune system doesn't care for dead substances, and just the presence of dead tissue will cause the system to launch an attack. Infections plus autoimmune rejection reactions cause more bacteria to collect around the dead tissue. Every time a person with a root canal bites down, these bacteria are flushed into the bloodstream and they start looking for a new home. And there's lots of places it can go. For the chemical attraction of specific bacteria for a specific issue. Let's see. Find new quarters in the heart, nervous system, kidney, brain, where they will perform primary damage. Many of the bacteria in the surrounding bone are present in far more than 50% of the samples tested. Streptococcus motis was found in 92% of the blood samples. It can cause pneumonia, sinusitis, other stuff. Oh, there's one comment I saw where someone was like, had chronic and constant, like, you know, ear and nose infections. Like it would just keep coming in cycles, you know, every month or so, you know, however long he said. It was just like constant. He got that tooth out, the root canal tooth out, and it stops. Never came back. So it's things like that, where it's like, this shouldn't be just dismissed as wackadoodle, you know, like, this should be taken into consideration and looked at closer. Why are they so eager to just, like, fluffed it away. Listening to this makes my teeth hurt. Yeah. On top of 8 bacteria in the blood, she said the root canal. 5 affect the heart. 5 the nervous system, 2 the kidney. Alright, so they're finding... So this study looks like it found, was testing the blood and the teeth around it and finding a lot of these, a lot of stuff going on. Oh, is that cavitations? Are the areas of unhealed bone left over after a tooth extraction. Alright, dentists are generally taught to remove a tooth and leave the periodontal ligament in the socket. Okay, this is the other part I need to know about. A procedure which would be like delivering a baby and leaving the placenta in the uterus, which would be bad. They rarely heal. After tooth removal, the cap of about 2 millimeters, 1/16 of an inch, covers the extraction site, leaving a hole the size of the root of the tooth behind. In records of 5,000 surgical debridements cleanings of cavitations, only 2 were found to be healed. When the ligament is left in the bone, the body senses that the tooth is still there, and the order for healing is cancelled. These holes are lined with many of the same bacteria found in root canal sockets, but actually more different species. Whereas root canal teeth contain up to 53 different species of bacteria, cavitations yield up to 82 of the 83 we tested for. And then again, a lot of those ones affect the heart and kidneys and stuff. Alright, this is listing what those different bacteria affect. Messing with the digestive system. Oh, we converted into the fungal form by a shift in pH. The digestive system. Candida can penetrate the intestinal walls, leaving microscopic holes that allow toxins, undigested food particles, bacteria, and other yeasts to enter the bloodstream. Yeah, that one's a big one for needing to heal your gut. Is watching out for that guy. The Candida. If you've got too much of that, it's a bad thing. This condition is sometimes referred to as leaky gut syndrome, which can lead to environmental intolerances. Ooh, now we're getting to antibiotics. Hang on. Alright, let's see. So if all these diseases of unknown origin, result bacterial invasion, why not just let the body with antibiotics heal the bacteria? Ever hear of someone who was sick, was given antibiotics, then got even worse? Most of us have heard the story. Perhaps the following information explains what happens in these cases and why antibiotics can't be used in infections of this nature. Most antibiotics are bacterial, think suicidal or homicidal, antibiotics kill. This is not the same type of killing that John Wayne... Okay, that was being funny. Let's see. When he fired at the guy, the bad guy fell dead, was then presumed to be buried, but then the bacterial antibiotics kill bacterium that explodes. The fragments are not eliminated immediately for each piece. I'm gonna check if the baby's crying. Hang on. I'm back. I had to turn off the light, so, what's the desktop audio? What's been playing? Huh, anyway, okay. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. I don't know if the music was weird for a bit. Okay, but... okay. Alright, I think we're all good. Alright, I'm back. Hopefully I'm loud enough for you guys too. Gotta speak quiet. Alright, so... sometimes, you know, with the antibiotics, if it's like hitting the guy, but the guy doesn't die, he just like fractures and comes back, then that's not really helpful. Also, antibiotics are pretty brutal to the delicate balance of your gut ecosystem, so there's that. Let's see. Broad spectrum antibiotics cannot be used for this reason. Sometimes even one capsule of antibiotics produce more problems than the immune system can tolerate. Plus, of course, it takes only 2 or 3 capsules to completely sterilize the gut of its 4 more pounds of friendly bacteria. Yeah, it is. Antibiotics can just cause a lot of more problems or just suppress things into the body that then cause different problems later, so they're like a hammer. They're just like a big hammer that's just like psh, needed in some cases, but they're, I believe, probably way too overused at times. But sometimes it seems like that's the only tool you're offered when there's other tools, but no one is offering them. The antibiotics should be used with ultra caution, not routinely given for 10 days or so after oral surgery, just in case. Let's see, there are other ways to get these microbes under control, and several are being tested at this time. It is advantageous to have intravenous vitamin C and occasionally a non-killing antibiotic is added to the solution. Let's see. But overall, root canals represent the rock and a hard place situation. Let's see. Leave the root canal or cavitation in the body, and there is the potential of creating an unwanted autoimmune or degenerative disease that could be life-threatening. Toxins and bacteria could both leak from these contamination sites, wreaking havoc. Removing the tooth presents problems that must be confronted, or the problems can be introduced problems not as dangerous as the continuous bacteria spill, but ones that need to be avoided if possible, in order to allow the immune system to focus on healing. All other offending dental materials should be removed. Mercury, copper, implants, tattoos, and nickel crowns, so that the immune system can deal with the bacteria challenge instead of bacteria plus toxic metals. Let's see. You gotta pay attention to diet. Dr. Price did a whole lot of research on that. Recovery from root canal is complicated, but your patient's life is worth so. Gene. These studies in DNA analysis, bacterial canal cavities, confirm the fact that Dr. Weston Price, despite being 1 century ahead of his colleagues, see, that's the thing, they're like, oh, poo-poo, that, like, 100-year-old, you know, guy, you know, discovery, like, whatever, that was a century ago. But why not just, like, look at it again? Let's see. Alright, let's see. Price was right. Root canals are not worth the price. Dun dun dun. Let's see. There's some more things, particularly root canals. More info on it. Alright, here's a whole bunch of references. I want to look up this one. 1923. 101 years ago. Kind of crazy how long the realization that mercury in the mouth isn't a good idea took. Alright. There's that. What to look up next? Let's see. There's another interesting thing I was gonna look up. I was trying to like look up specific like studies and stuff, and like I feel like I ran into like a paywall. Let's see if I can find how to pull this up. I think I'll probably also try and look up. I'll try and look up like the other side and try and find their studies trying to disprove this or proving that it's safe. I don't know. I feel pretty set on my decision, but I still want to research. Oh, let's see. It's probably like a book. Let's see, what other things? Let me look up what other things I wanted to look at. I have a whole list of different things to read. Let's see here. Alright, there's an okay, where's the one that was interesting? I mean, they're all pretty interesting, but... It was these two I wanted to look at real quick. Was it these two? Let me stick it over here. That one there. Where's the one? This one? Where's the one that was like the cancer age? These two? Alright, these two. Let's look at these two side by side. Little articles. Alright, first we'll start with this one. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Turn that back on. There we go. It's been nearly 2 hours of you streaming, Minna. It has, and it is 2 a.m. We'll see how much longer I can go. Alright. This is by Colgate, which is interesting. Root canals and breast cancer debunking condom root canal myths. Let's see. The health of your mouth, gums, and teeth has an effect on the general health of your body. In fact, the Mayo Clinic calls oral health a window to your overall health. But can your oral health or certain dental treatments affect your risk of developing cancer? Some claim there's a connection between root canals and breast cancer, as well as other forms of cancer. However, there is no scientific evidence that root canals cause cancer. If your dentist recommends a root canal, it's because they believe that the treatment is the best option for saving your tooth and improving your oral health. There's, again, it's the saving the tooth thing. So, this is where they stand. Let's see. You might have heard claims that a high percentage of breast cancer patients have also had root canals where they develop a tumor in the same side of the body which they had the root canal. I don't doubt a lot of people have root canals. American Association of Endocrinologists debunks these myths by pointing out that the statistics don't come from any published study and that there is no evidence to support the claim linking root canals with cancer. I haven't seen that stuff in particular. Belief that root canals are linked to breast cancer or other forms of cancer dates back to early 1900s and stems from something known as the follicle infection theory. According to the AAE, the theory claims that bacteria left in the mouth after a root canal can travel to other areas of the body and contribute to the development of cancer and other diseases. What do you think, chat? Do you think there's any grounds to those claims, maybe? My question, is there any solid evidence thoroughly disproving that the bacteria is traveling? The AAE goes on to explain that multiple studies performed throughout recent decades demonstrate that root canals are safe procedures. Additionally, reviews of follicle infection theory studies show that much of the research didn't involve the use of control groups and other standard equipment of modern scientific studies. But have they recreated it with those things? Now, is getting a root canal going to guarantee you get cancer? Probably not. Could it be a factor? Maybe. Can we look at it closer? And a link to the studies in this article instead of just stating it? So what does this all mean? If your dentist recommends a root canal procedure, don't panic. They are recommending the treatment because they believe it is the best option for the health of your tooth and for your overall health, and that was what they were taught to recommend. Feel free to ask your dentist any questions about what to expect from the treatment, what steps you can take to help the best results. Extractions of peripheral root canals. You might see claims that it's better to remove a tooth than have a root canal, although there might be times when extracting a tooth is the best option. The AAE states that in many cases saving the tooth is the better bet. Like the one advantage is having more of the structure in place, a better bite maybe, and then there's the trouble of like filling that space. There is, you got to deal with that. Extracting a tooth often requires a replacement tooth, which usually requires additional dental visits and an increased cost. Root canals are painful. Another ongoing myth about root canals is that the procedure is painful. It's probably just like any other dental thing. It's not fun. Hopefully, it's not supposed to be like overly painful, but it's not pleasant. The ultimate goal of root canal procedure is to end the pain caused by the affected tooth that initially brought you to the endodontist. So they take out the nerve. So then you can't feel it anymore. But if you can't feel it anymore, how do you know if it's still bad? Like, if there's still an infection, then you don't feel the infection. Cancer isn't the only medical problem that's been falsely linked to root canals. The AAE notes that misinterpretations of very small studies led some to claim that root canals can contribute to Alzheimer's disease or even spread it from one patient to the next, particularly if the endodontist uses contaminated surgical instruments. According to AAE, the majority of endodontists use single-use tools when performing root canal procedures. If they don't, they have methods in place to thoroughly sterilize instruments. If they can inject poop and cause a skinny person or a fat person get skinny, maybe they can spread the germs to the other person to get Alzheimer's. I don't know. Alright, so now let's look at breast cancer conqueror. Root canals revisited. New studies, new evidence, same dangers. Let's see what they say. I haven't read this one yet. Let's see. According to traditional dentistry, a root canal is a procedure which a dentist first accesses the pulp chamber inside the tooth, then cleans it out, and finally fills it. Sounds pretty innocent, right? Let's see. In reality, what happens is this. A dead organ, your tooth, is left in the mouth and then filled with synthetic material. This creates an area that is ripe for pathological bacteria overgrowth and can lead to disease, including breast cancer. So, Colgate says no. Breast Cancer Conqueror says yes. The fundamental problem with root canals is procedure ensures that the entire canal system is enclosed. This creates a cascade of issues for long-term health, since the biotoxins that will inevitably grow in that area are slowly dripped into the lymphatic and blood systems through the miles of tubulars that surround the root. So, okay, we've gone over this. No one who had a root canal is immune to infectious effects. Dr. Boyd Harley at the University of Kentucky is one of the premier experts on biological toxins. For years, he ran the lab, Affinity Label Technology, where he and his partner performed consumer root canal biopsies, which measured the dental toxins. After testing over 5,000 root canal samples, he found that 100% of them were toxic. Let's click that link to look at it in a minute. Some of the most common toxins found in root canal samples were these things I'm not even going to try and pronounce right now. Is a fungus that can produce a high toxic moxitoxin. That thing, aflatoxin. Alright. Root cause. I think that was like the thing. They were like, oh no, root cause. Alright, my boy Dr. Price again. New research has verified earlier findings by pioneers such as Dr. Winston Price, who discussed the effects of toxic teeth over a century ago. See, it's so different the way they talk about him. They like, oh, that was 100 years ago. Dismiss him. And other people are like, he was onto something. Let's look at it. Minna may actually be a dentist for real. No, I've just been Googling. I've just been researching, pulling stuff up, watching videos, reading articles. I'm having a hard time like finding like some of the specific like gritty studies, but I'm trying to find those. Did someone get a root canal, or is this just an inch of yours? Not gonna lie, I'm learning a lot from this stream. Didn't even know half of this. I just got a root canal. Oh no. Alright. So the situation right now is I've got a tooth that's hurting, that's, you know, infected or something. It's been sitting there for like a month. I've been managing to keep it from hurting too much, which has been good. Arnica and no sugar in the diet has been my best friends. So I'm talking to the dentist tomorrow. So I've been trying to research more and be ready to like talk to them about options. Mostly seeing what, you know, if they can remove the tooth and the ligament, and what things they can put in place instead. So I needed to do this research, and it's quite interesting. I think would be good for a lot of people to know. And also, you know, not to scare you too much about it all, because it can get a little overwhelming. I think one of the biggest things with the root canal is, you know, if I just give a quick overview, the problem is you've got all these little tubular, like microscopic things in the dentin of your tooth, which is between the pulp and the enamel, and it's kind of impossible to guarantee that those won't have any bacteria, like the aromatic or whatever, the bacteria that doesn't need oxygen, because the root canal cuts off all the like blood flow and stuff, and so the risk is that those toxins and that bacteria will then leach into the rest of your body, travel to other places, cause problems. There are plenty of people that haven't had a problem with it as far as they can tell, but like if you do have something that starts to come up, like some sort of autoimmune disease or circulatory disease or heart disease or things, be aware that it might be worth it to look at, you know, those root canals, and if they need to come out. You know, if you got a strong enough immune system, it can probably keep it from doing too much damage, but then if your immune system's compromised, there's that risk That's what I see. So that's why I'm not really wanting to get a root canal for those reasons. But I don't know. The more you know, be aware of these things. Don't panic if you have root canal, but being aware of it and looking out for potential problems is definitely worth it. So I hope you're recovering well from your root canal potato cancer. Let's see. Alright, where is that at? Alright. So, in the early 2000s, Dr. Robert Jones, in his University of Glasgow, studied the health histories of 300 women with breast cancer. He found that roughly 93%. Alright, the other one claimed that that was false. Did they say where they proved it was false? Where did it say? Where did they say it was false? So it debunks the myths by pointing out that they didn't come from studies and there's no evidence. Alright, what does this other one say? This guy looked at, what was it? 300 women and 93% of them had root canals. Again, that's just something to poke more at. Think about, I don't know. Maybe it's not the reason, but does it have a part? You know? I don't know what percentage of like the population has root canals. I feel like a lot of people probably do. So, I mean, it could just be that a lot of people tend to have root canals. You know, if you had those people and then you test the teeth, I don't know, maybe you can get a better picture. Let's see, but much of the new research about root canal and chronic diseases was recently presented in an in-depth and surprisingly entertaining documentary called Root Cause in 2019. I think it's long. I think it's like a movie length. In it, a young man makes the journey from chronic disease to health and learns about the root cause of his years of misery, a severely infected root canal, from some of the top researchers and doctors in the field today. Yeah, I think it's like a movie. One of the experts featured in the movie, Dr. Thomas Levy, a cardiologist who worked with a biological dentist and health pioneer, Dr. Hal Higgins. The problem with the root canal is that it is what I call a fatally flawed procedure, explains Levy. The reason a root canal is done is if you come to the dentist with pain, the problem is in taking out the pain, the dentist takes out the nerve and pulp, the blood supplies, and the connective tissue. If you will, the tooth undergoes procedure of taxidermy while it is in your mouth. Oh, it's over here. We could click through. Oh, that's not where I want to go. Look at it in a minute. Why don't dentists know about the dangers of root canal? Oh no, boobs on screen. I don't know if they're gonna be unhappy about breast cancer. It is safe to say it'll be funny if I get some sort of violation for it. I'm doing well. I even got a crown for it. Thankfully, insurance paid most of it. Only had to dish out $44 for it. That's good, because they can be expensive. I know a lot of people claim, like, dentists do it because they want to make money. I don't think most dentists think that way. I think they truly believe that that's the best for their patient. But it's the system. Zombie teeth. Way better than my last trip where I effed up my mouth by doing the old pliers to tooth removal. Dude. So I'm probably not the best with my teeth. Lucky my girlfriend even kisses me at this point. Ooh, I can't even imagine. You actually took pliers to it and tried to pull it out? Ooh, no thanks. Alright, let's see. It's safe to say that root canal is a procedure whose time has come and gone. According to Dr. Don Iguin, Executive Director of the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine. Root canals were initially created by a patient-driven desire to keep teeth in place for cosmetic reasons. Missing teeth was and still is equated to being poor and socially inept. Let's see, I'm gonna hide it while I scroll past the new picture. I'll keep reading. 98 of women with breast cancer have had a root canal on the same side of the tumor. Most dentists continue to promote root canals today, in part because they have become accustomed to doing them and they are reluctant, for whatever reasons, to change their ways. Kind of same thing about x-raying women in labor. And yeah, anyway, another reason is that the vast majority of traditional dentists rely on 2D imaging to determine infection. 2D X-ray, however, did not measure depth. 3D core beaming imaging, which many holistic dentists are beginning to utilize, record depth and can spot infection at all angles of an oral area. What can I do if I have a root canal? Discovering the link between your root canal and disease is the first step. Now it is time to connect with a certified biological dentist who can not only extract your root canal, but do so properly. When a root canal tooth is extracted, specific procedures must be followed to contain the highly toxic bacteria that will inevitably be released. Let's see. Alright, talking about removing it. Keep in mind, any type of dental implant that is drilled into the bone often comes with its own toxicity issues. Yeah, I need to look this up. I should probably do that next. Especially for those already on the healing breast journey. The bridges are, like, they attach to the teeth next to it, which is a little, like, then those teeth are affected. Let's see, more than 5 million root canals performed each year, creating awareness, dangers of root canal, hopefully increase the numbers. Okay. Oh. This is a breast cancer. Like, if this was, like, a biological dentist site with this article, there would be a conflict of interest. But this is technically a breast cancer site, so it doesn't seem as conflict of interest. Let's see. Alright. Turn this back on. See. What are you guys talking about over here? See, it hurts for days, so I just have to pull it out. Turns out it infected the tooth near it, so I had to go to the dentist anyway. Was there for 3 hours, not a good time. Oof, that's hard. FYI, arnica has been really good to me for tooth pain. Missing teeth screws up the shape of your face. Yeah, that's why you gotta get, like, stuff to keep it, you know, spacers or whatever. Didn't know root canals could affect pregnant women like that. Oh, the pregnant women and the root canal wasn't really connected. I was talking about how for a while it was the standard to x-ray women during labor. I guess to look at, like, if their hips were wide enough, which their hips move, so, you know, that's not really helpful anyway. But even after research came out that was like, this is a bad idea, maybe we shouldn't expose women and babies being born to radiation like that. And it took, like, at least 10 years before everyone got on board with it. So things like that, where it's like, even when the research comes out, sometimes it can take a while for the establishment to get on board. Also, has the dentist ever left the room when they x-ray your mouth, or is it just mine? I think all of them do, because they, like, you have the little cover on, they don't have the little cover on. So they usually step out of the room and press the button. It's such a curse that mammals can't regenerate teeth. It's frustrating because, like, modern dentistry, like, they're like, oh, prevention is the best, but their only tool is fluoride and brushing, which is honestly one of the like lowest on effectability. Like, the biggest thing is diet, and Dr. Winston Price did a whole lot of research on how your diet affects your teeth. When I think of our biggest downfalls is we stopped having organ meat and good fat soluble vitamins. That's a big factor. So really the biggest thing you can do for your teeth is your diet, and it's more than just like no sugar, and it's more than just like, because there's the theory that like it's just like the stuff on top of your teeth that's messing with it, and your mouth has more of a system for remineralizing stuff, but then if foods and things aren't or like getting in the way, or there's not enough of it, I don't know, there's another book I'm reading about it, but it's just frustrating because it's like modern dentistry, their only options are like use fluoride and brush, and if you get a cavity, we'll just slowly chip your teeth away until there's none left. That's what it feels like. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna have to watch the VOD. See. Maybe even just brush quadruple times a day. It's hard to brush even twice a day. Again, like there's the pH in your mouth, there's all your gut health, there's your diet. So much of that affects the teeth. Like, as much or more than just simply brushing it. Also, an x-ray or 2 per year is MBD, but 20 per day will screw you up. Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought milk would make my teeth healthier. I also had to stop drinking coffee and smoking, and my teeth, it sucks. Milk, raw milk will help, for sure. There's a lot of people that have, raw milk just has a lot of benefit, because it has all of the good stuff in it and hasn't been pasteurized and all the good stuff killed. Raw milk will help your teeth for sure. Pasteurized milk, it's white water. There's probably not enough gumption in it to really do much. Raw milk absolutely will help your teeth. There's a lot of people that have healed their teeth back up, probably from like small things, with things like raw milk and such, because especially like, the people in the Alps, I think. Yeah, I see that. Having that really good grass-fed, butter and cream and stuff from their cows really helped. What do you think? You were napping. Now you're awake. Why are you awake? A little burp. Cute. Doe baby's awake. It's 2 a.m. We'll see how this goes. I thought raw milk, humans can't drink it or something like that. The milk itself will not harm you. If the milk is handled in such a way that it introduces bacteria, then it could harm you. The milk itself will not harm you. If you have a clean, healthy animal, if you have clean equipment, if you cool it down right away, it is a power food. It is very healthy and very good for you. And also, in particularly A2A2 milk, because it's a different protein, I think, sort of. No, don't grab that, Gundam. A2A2 milk, there's a whole lot of people who can't tolerate any other milk, like any other cow milk, but they can tolerate A2A2 milk. Raw A2A2 milk is delicious. Yeah. Raw milk is very good for you. It is unfortunate that it is illegal, because it is so good for you. I don't know, I feel like I'd prefer just certain regulations on selling it. But they just make it illegal instead. Yeah, I know. Good morning, Minna. Hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Wild Doge. Let's see. I brush with clay before bed and haven't seen a dentist in over a decade. there's so many factors too, like Milliardo has not had a single cavity. I can't remember how many fillings I have. There's also the fact of like pregnancy and breastfeeding, probably depleting my stores of minerals. I'm probably deficient. I feel like everyone's probably deficient in vitamin D. So I mean that's another disadvantage, but I need to build up my gut health and my nutrition and all that. Anyway, let's see. Don't grab the microphone. He's eating it. What are you doing? Thank you. Wise words. Wise words. Thank you, son. It depends on the state. I can get raw milk in my area, but it's much more expensive. There's a reason it's expensive. It's worth it, but there's some states easier than others. There's a lot of states that they just sell it as for or for animal consumption only. They put that label on it. I'll just go to the farm that's a few hours away from my house and ask to buy milk from them. That's probably the best way. Is find, especially if you find like a small little family farm that they drink their own milk and everything. All right, let's see. Yes, the Adobe baby does want some attention. He mostly wants to grab things and make messes. That's his goal in life.
Oh, good night.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's see. What else do I want to look at? Let's see here. Oh, this is the root canal. Here, I can drop this if anyone wants it. This is the one video that
Good day.
dentists hate and other dentists approve of. Or between the different dentists. Uh-huh. That's the trailer. I guess you can rent it. So there's that. Probably won't look at that right now. Let's see. That was the breast cancer one. Titanium. Let's see. I know one thing with having, like, if you have multiple metals in your mouth, like different metal fillings, that could definitely be a problem. Just gonna scan this real quick. Okay, you can talk for a minute, baby.
Oh.
I kept them on my lap. Usually I just get them back to sleep in the bed and come back to stream, but that was gonna take a while and I needed to keep reading. You can sing us a song? Let's see. Not sure how do I decipher these pages? Because it's got the abstract, I guess the like overall, read full text. See, I run into a paywall. Download PDF. Man, why do you run into a paywall? I want to read this.
Oh,
yeah, I know. The literature indicates that titanium can introduce hypersensitivity and susceptible patients and could play a critical role in implant failure. Supports the need for long-term clinical and radiographic follow-up while implant patients are sensitive to metals. At present, we know little about titanium hypersensitivity, but it cannot be excluded as a reason for implant failure. We got 2 streamers today. My co-host, educational stream about dentistry. Yep, trying to do my research. Wait, so Milliardo never went to dentist like that? Man must be good oral care. Also, Doe Baby really makes me want to be a dad. Can't wait till I get that pay raise. They're very cute. He goes to the dentist, but he just never has a cavity. And like, again, like the brushing never doesn't really seem to matter. I don't know if it's his genetics or I think more so than genetics, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's genetics. I think partly genetics in some way, but I think also just your culture, your microbiome, all that kind of, I think is probably like the biggest affecting factor. Because like in Dr. Price's research on the indigenous tribe changed their diet from eating like fish heads and all this other stuff that has a lot of dense nutrients, and they switched to a Western diet of too much processed stuff and losing out on the other things, then their teeth change drastically. So there's something to that. He has such profound and exhilarating words. He really does. His talking is so funny. He's always marching around and like singing and talking. It's so funny. Is your baby hungry? He's been nursing for a while, so he's probably not hungry. We probably need a diaper change, though. We get a diaper change before we try and get back to bed. Alright, haven't had a chance to really look at the different options of what I'd want once the tooth is out, of like what to put there. You give weights to you are what you eat, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like it's what you put in your body makes a big difference. It's what fuels it. It's what your body uses to continue running. Is there anything else to read? Oh, I have so much stuff. I'm not gonna get to all of it. I've kind of just been looking at what I can. Okay, stop pressing buttons. I need that stuff. Honestly, it'll probably, I don't know, I might get one more thing in. This goes like, gets mad. You're probably already getting mad at me, huh? Here, do you want to play with, what can I hand you? Here, this. Give me this. You want to type? Okay. Okay, you know what? I bet I'll probably try and read a bit more on my phone while I get him back to sleep, but that'll be off stream. I think, gosh, is there anything else I really like to look at? Yeah. Hang on. Where's my other thing? It was... there was one other thing. Where was it? Alright, we've talked a lot about the one side of seeing a problem. Where's the one? Alright, not that one. I think... Hang on, buddy. Careful. Yeah, I know you're mad at me. You don't want me to stop you from pushing buttons? What are you gonna do? What are you doing? Babe? Here's the one thing. Alright, let's see if we... What do they say about the safety? Right, you can't push buttons. You really can't. I need you to not do that. I need you to not push buttons. Happen? Okay. Oh darn, yeah, I had that muted. Okay, anyway, I guess I'll read this again. I was kind of salty the first time I read it. I'll try and read it straight. And tell me what you guys think of this little statement. Does it boast confidence in you? The effectiveness of root canal treatment is well established. However, misinformation continues to circulate on the internet that may cause patients to question the safety of endodontics. Below are AAE's resources designed to help dental professionals advocate for good dental health and root canal safety. It is in the best interest of patients to understand there is no valid scientific evidence linking root canals to any other health problems, and also to understand the advancements in modern dentistry that make endodontics treatments predictable, effective, and successful. Watch our root canal safety video and share it with your patients to help explain that endodontic treatments is safe and effective. Does that boast confidence after everything we've learned today? Or does that just make you go, why are they so dismissive? Hale, Jeff, what learned about teeth? Alright, so quick overview about the teeth.
No, no.
That's right. One camp of thought believes that there's no issue with root canals, and it doesn't leach toxicness. The other camp looks at the dentin layer between your enamel and your pulp that has all these microscopic like tubes where like blood flow and stuff goes, and when you have root canal and then that's sealed off, those little tubes can't really be guaranteed to be completely free of the bacteria, and those anaerobic bacteria that survive without the oxygen can then thrive and then possibly spread out of the tooth because you've got your periodontic ligament under that with a lot of blood flow and other things. And so then those toxic bacteria that are then hanging out in your teeth and can leach into the rest of your body. And there's one study showing a whole lot of certain kinds of bacteria found in large amounts around root canal teeth, and those bacteria linked to a lot of heart and kidney and circulatory diseases and such. So there's a school of thought of like, hey, there's also a lot of research that Dr. Winston Price did and other people looking at his research, and you know, like the DNA testing around the other teeth and finding these different bacteria and stuff. And then a whole lot of people's stories of, hey, they had this, you know, for example, chronic sinus and ear infections constantly. As soon as they took that root canal tooth out, never came back. So there's a school of thought that like, hey, there's something to this. Maybe root canals are pretty toxic. Maybe if you have a good immune system, maybe it's able to suppress the toxins that are just constantly camping out there. But if your immune's compromised, then maybe they spread. So that's one camp. The other camp is like, no way. That guy, that was from like 100 years ago. Forget him. Don't, he's wrong. We're right. My bias is kind of showing because at this point I'm like, there seems to be something to this. You guys are denying it pretty hard. What's the dealio? That's where I'm at in my research of it. I haven't been able to, like, I don't know, maybe I have it in the links I found. Look at the nitty-gritty of the studies. Well, I guess here might show, maybe here they have a study like showing, again, they say it's safe. What exactly is their measurement of safe? Have like, I would love to see more look at the connection between the diseases in the teeth. I know there's the one guy that looked at what, like, I think they looked at like 5,000 root canal teeth, like biopsied them, and 100% had, toxins. So, yes. Yes. Hey, do you want to go to sleep? Would you like to go to sleep?
Oh, no.
Yes? It'd be great to go to sleep. We should. I don't know, let me scroll this real quick. This is what the other side presents. Member focus resources. What's this say? And again, I don't really think the tooth saving aspect. And it started more of patients wanting to keep the aesthetic of having the teeth still there instead of them being pulled, because that was associated with being poor, because this was in like the probably at least 1800s, if not sooner. And so it was a patient-driven procedure that now the dentists are like, this is what patients need. It's like, let's see. Root canal safety talking points. Let's see, root canal safety sheet. A lot of words. Oh, this is showing like how to talk patients into root canals. Select references. All right, so these are. Let's see. Alright, so I guess this is one of the studies. It would be nice if the studies that I've tried to find so far aren't behind paywalls. Let's see. I wonder how to find that study. I don't know which one this is. I don't know how to find that. How do I find the studies? I suppose. Let's see, what are their talking points? Acknowledge the patient's concerns. Stress the optimal health as goal for every dental patient. Optimal health is not having toxins in your mouth. Provide the patient with written information about instructional treatments and discuss it. The AAE has a variety of patient education brochures. Let's see, what does it say about the dentist? Miss that. What, you wanna grab? What do you wanna grab?
Oh.
There you go. Let's see. Thoughts of root canal maybe. Let's see. Root canal. Thoughts of illnesses. Information you may find on the internet or elsewhere claim that if you receive a root canal treatment that you are more likely to become ill or contract a disease in future. But isn't true. The false claim was based on a long debunked and design research nearly a century ago. See, the way they dunk on him, one side is like, this guy was a pioneer, the other side's like, boo-hoo. Like, seems like it's quite two very different angles, you know? Where's my research disproving it? So far I've seen research backing it. Hang on. Maybe I can try it, let's see. Why is saving your natural tooth always the best option? I wonder that. I mean, like, having the structure there is probably helpful, because it's, you know, made to be there, but still. I also find it weird how they push, like, we need to have this many root canals by this year. You're kind of loud. I didn't. Let's see here. Can I Google just like I probably need to end soon. I don't know. Chat, give me your honest thoughts after all this. Are you suspicious, or do you take them at face value when they say it doesn't cause illness? See, obviously, medical process and health issues can lead to health issues. Complications happen. Let's see. The teeth and sinuses are close together. If an infection of the tooth or jaw occurs, it can cause inflammation of the nose and ears. So yeah, so the root canal is inflamed and infected. So why is it better to leave it in there than pull it out? Let's see. The tooth hurts because it's messed up, but instead of doing something about it, they take out the nerve. It's like removing the check engine light in your car. Are you saying electrical tape and earplugs isn't the right way to fix my car? To be blunt, dentistry is kind of a sketchy thing, and this might sound like a conspiracy theory, but a lot of what's in my area is heavily corrupted. Human nature, man. Human nature. Again, I don't think the majority of individual dentists are like purposely against us, but I think just the way they're taught, you know, unless they're like looking outside of that, then it's like this is the camp they're in, unless they decide to move outside of that. Oh, baby, come here. We'll probably wrap up here. Let me just finish reading comments. Let's see, I'll ask my root canal teacher on Monday, I guess. It'd be interesting. I guess you tweet at me if you do. Grug's assurant, if either side correct. Come here, baby. Because it seems like that is, yeah, time to put baby to bed, yeah. A lot of the dentist office around me will push things that will ensure you have to come back repeatedly so they can milk your insurance rather than primarily fixing the problem. They want to take out all the organic stuff that causes the infection. It's not just the nerve. But the thing is, those tiny little holes in the, was it dentum? All the little microscopic holes. I don't trust that you can guarantee that all of that material is cleared. Like, there's gonna be some bacteria left in the tooth, and the point of contention comes on if that bacteria can escape the tooth or not. I think that's what I've seen is people are like, oh, well, it's sealed up. Like, if there's anything left, it's sealed up. But, I mean, there's the experiment Dr. Price did, where he took teeth, you know, they extracted teeth and like put all kinds of chemicals and stuff on it to try and like kill all the bacteria, and then would culture it, and like out of 100 teeth, like 99 of them grew bacteria, even after like everything they could do to like sterilize the tooth. Well, this was an informative stream. I'm glad you liked it. Alright, baby. The most important thing to understand is that probably 98% of people don't actually understand what they're doing, dentists and doctors included. They just do and repeat what they've been taught. I think that's where the problem lies, is like, they've been taught like, this is the best for the patient. And so they want to help people, so they do what they think is most helpful. Can't, you know. And especially if it's, oh gosh, even like when we're getting, you know, stuff about birth, where things like a woman laying on her back to give birth is like the worst position to give birth in. It like, you know, significantly decreases, you know, the room in the pelvis for the baby to come out. It's not a good position. Or what other things, like having the little like strap around the belly for the heartbeat monitor. There's all these little things that are the standard practice that aren't really evidence-based, but no one wants to get rid of them because of liability reasons. You know, if you want to try and do something different, even if you have researched and believe that it's better for the birthing mother, if something does happen, and statistically something will happen eventually, then you could get sued because you weren't doing it the way everyone else was doing. I think that's a big issue. I think lawsuits stop a lot of progress from happening because of liability and people not wanting to take on liability for doing things differently. Being a doctor is a whole lot of work. Nobody is actually going to check the science behind it all. I want some free time, thanks. Becoming. What happened in the chat messages? Let's see. 99 out of 1,000. Let's see. Also causes issue with blood flow. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, because you're on that nerve. Or that vessel. Not nerve. Probably nerve too, but yeah. Yeah. It's not a great position for birthing. Something like a squat's better. Or being able to be on your side and pull your leg up. Let's see. That's why it's important to brush your teeth and eat food that promotes good bacteria. Yep. My older sister almost died due to those practices. Oof, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad she didn't. Hope she's doing well. But birth trauma is a real thing. A real big problem. And the fact that the US has pretty high maternal like death rates for birthing mothers is not a good thing. I think a lot of people point out that like birth is treated in the US like a problem to be solved, when most of the time it's not. Like a normal healthy birth is not a problem to be solved. But the birth funnel, which is like one intervention leading to the other to the next, is a very real thing. That's probably a topic for a different stream. Let's see. Also, another thing a lot of people don't think about is grains. Like the one book I'm reading talking about grains can be really rough on the teeth, even things like oatmeal and whatnot. And I'll have to look back on why it seems like whole grains became like the healthy thing, when technically like the bran has more nutrients, but it also has a lot of anti-nutrients, and that affects. I'd have to pull that back up to refresh myself, but I'm very leery of grains, even whole grains. I'm actually more leery of whole grains now than I am of grains and rice with the bran removed. But I'll have to refresh myself on that. Well, medicine is not a science, it's a practice, because not every patient will be the same. This medicine evolves as newer methods are developed. It'd be nice if people were more open to reevaluating things, I guess. She's okay now, but has some permanent health problems now. Ugh, that's rough. I'm sorry. The anesthesiologist gave my wife way too much epidural and almost killed her. Oof. Ugh, yeah. Let's see, the Demon Lord. Oh, hang on, I gotta go get Doe Baby, he's running away. Come on, buddy. Okay, I'm back, baby. Let's see, the Demon Lord, most solutions to medical problems do require practical solutions. At least that is what they taught us in combat medicine. Oh, the Demon Lord. Oh, that was responding to someone. Most solutions to medical problems do require practical solutions. Okay, yeah. Odd statement for a bread tuber to make. What statement? Oh, about the grains and stuff. But then also, like, you can't just have, like, a bunch of white wheat and sugar and stuff. You need to balance it with, like, you know, if you have, like, or, like, a lot of the places had, like, good rye bread. I don't know. There's still a lot to learn and think about. Interesting to the different birthing positions over laying on the back position. Yeah, there's a whole lot I could say about birth. My wife gave birth to my youngest standing up. Catching the kid was a little sketchy. They're slippery. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they just, especially there's also the, if you're not aware of it, there's a, oh, what is it called? Fetal, like, ejection, where, like, sometimes instead of pushing, your body just, like, launches the baby out. Oh, he wants to go back down the stairs. Alright, I should wrap up. Oh, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully, I was able to get my brain wrapped around things a little more, and I have a good conversation with the dentist tomorrow. Again, it's been like a month since the tooth started hurting, but I've got it to hurt less than when it first started, which has been good. So we'll see what they say tomorrow. They're going to do more in-depth, like, imaging and stuff to look at the tooth, but this tooth already had, like, fillings and a crown. Like, honestly, I don't even know how much of the tooth structure is left, so, yeah, I feel like it's probably better just pull it. Alright, is there anyone streaming? Let me see. Oh, okay, let's see. Or was it this side? Which window was it? Okay, it's over here, hang on. Alright, real quick, let me find a raid. Raid time. Is there anyone streaming? Please. There's some Japanese people. Oh, we'll raid into, when is Nyana's concert coming up? Alright, I'll raid into Nyana's concert. Put, like, remind me or something on it. Because it should be pretty good. Alright, I gotta go grab him. Alright, until next time. Thank you guys. Stay fresh, my friends. Bye.